we are going to have a workshop here in this room, and the workshop is for resource mapping, an interactive workshop, and you can find about the workshop on that workshop sheet in the book here. And I'm going to let you know who is going to be facilitating it. All right. The Reverend Dr. Larry D. George, PhD, he has over 27 years of academic graduate teaching in the New Testament, the Old Testament, Hebrew Bible, and general theologically and religious studies. He is the CEO and president of George Educational Consulting Service, Inc., focusing on proofreading, editing, publishing, and effective and efficient academic processes toward academic and business excellence. Additionally, Dr. George has two nonprofit organizations. Dr. Larry George Ministers in CDC, Inc., which focuses on adult daycare, at-risk, youth and environmental justice. Oh my goodness, I don't even know how to say this word. Enthusiastically. I think that's how to say the word, right? Okay. He seeks to make a significant impact in people's lives. Dr. George's hobbies include reading, writing, stock market investment, stamp collecting, swimming, technology, dominoes, chess, math, and science, and I know for a fact that he likes hip-hop music as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a good, big round of applause for Reverend Dr. Larry D. George. And my glasses, I have to put my glasses up to the reading part. They're progressions.
Well, I am simply, absolutely overwhelmed with this meeting. I do most of my work solo. I'm at home, me and my dog, and oftentimes I don't even answer the phone or talk on the phone a whole week, and I don't mind, because I've learned to fall in love with solitude. So when I come out in a meeting like this, it's easy for me to be overwhelmed. But this is a good reason for me to be overwhelmed. I got here by way of Doctors John and Janie Dandridge. And they are like brothers and sisters to me. And I have a hard time saying it without tears welling up in my eyes, because I love them both. They are my brothers and sisters. And then to top it off, I get a chance to meet the CEO, president, and founder of Mothers for Justice and Equality. It doesn't, I have a client, she has all these initials about who I am, and she tried to describe me, but one of the initials she used is called Blink. And what that means, it doesn't take me long at all to figure out what kind of resource you are. And I don't have to read nothing. I could just read you. And I am impressed. And I'm looking forward to get all the details about Mona Lisa, because I know with just us two talking, we're going to turn the world upside down. And it's never, ever going to be the same. Now, I got involved with artificial intelligence, particularly ChatGPT and OpenAI, when it first came out, November 22. And what I do whenever something comes out, by the way, I'm going to talk and lay the foundation for maybe about 5 to 7 minutes, because this truly has to be interactive, because I got to see where you are. Anyway, so with my engineering I have an engineering background, civil engineer, and then I also have a humanities background. And so I could do both. I'm amphibious. I could walk in either world or swim. And so when it came out, before it came out, I was contemplating hiring about 6 or 7 people to work alongside of me with all the work I had to do, publish books for Amazon, tutor any grade level, particularly graduate school, helping people matriculate through different PhD programs, master's programs, and the like. But I started to hire somebody. When ChatGPT came out, man, I knew right away, blink, that it would be everything I need, and I wouldn't need to hire anybody. It does. I literally do the work of about 12 people. And if that doesn't get you, I don't know what will. I use it literally for everything. When it came out, I made a practice of anything that comes out new, I go straight to YouTube and I watch every day about 4 or 5 YouTube videos until I mastered it. And then I keep following it. I did it from November 2022 until present. I'm still learning so much about this area and how it could benefit us, particularly as nonprofits. And so, with that, let me do a sort of a poll. How many of you are using ChatGPT? That's what I figured. Okay, now, keep your hand up. Those who raise your hand on ChatGPT, keep your hands up. How many of you are using a paid subscription to a particular ChatGPT program? Brother, back in the back, I know you have a little conference. Are you using the paid program? He's talking. Which paid program are you using? Huh? No, I asked about the paid programs. Okay, I got you. Now, why do I ask about paid programs? Essentially, what I've learned being in academia is that you gotta be able to create posts that will not be able to detect any artificial intelligence in the document itself. Now, that's very, very, very important, like particularly when you're writing grants. You don't want the grantor, you don't want them to be able to say that you wrote this with artificial intelligence. And so you got to be able to disguise the artificial intelligence in your document. Like, for example, if I'm doing a PhD ghostwriting for a PhD program, I don't want the professors to know that I used ChatGPT in helping mine. And so, but you cannot disguise, you could disguise artificial intelligence in it, but it's not as efficient as if you paid for a subscription itself. Excuse me. And there are 3 I'm going to introduce you to. For those who have not used it at all, take out a pen and paper. This is going to be like standing in front of a water hydrant, trying to get a sip of water. And so, if you've never used it before, then I suggest that you go to just ChatGPT. You could do .com, that's fine. Or you could go to OpenAI chatgpt.com. Okay? Now, let me tell you how this works, man. This is so unbelievable. I get up in the morning, I was telling Mona Lisa, I literally get up in the morning and all I have is my phone. And by the way, if you have an Apple and you want to follow up, or either Android, either one, I know of some software that you can use for artificial intelligence. You pay $99 for Apple or $59 for Google for a lifetime subscription. That's extremely important because the way these models are working, if you're using the free model like I did for a while, after a while, because of the amount of how much I use it, excuse me, I took 2 blood pressure pills at the same time, one for breakfast and one for 3 o'clock. So that's why I'm sort of jittery. But But anyway, and so I get up in the morning with that one piece of software. Again, it costs $99 for life because I ran out of all the free stuff. And I literally do all my work on my phone. And then what I do is, like, for example, I was sitting here watching the workshop, the workshop that we just had about policy. And I said, man, what I do is every time I'm in a workshop or I'm watching YouTubes and what have you, I automatically go straight to this software on my phone, and it's coming up now, and I put a prompt in. And this was a prompt about the title. What is public policy and why does it matter? But I also asked Chat to give me some book resources to that particular topic so that I could start mastering this all together. But a lot of the stuff that you all talked about in that earlier workshop on policy, I was able to pull up information real time as you spoke and got information like this. And what I do is I search on my phone, and then the next step is I go to Google Docs, or you could go to Word, you cut and paste it, okay? And that way, whatever you generate, you have it in a document that now is ready to be reworked, okay? And so that's just one example, a real-time example that I use it in everything I do, you know. Now, primarily, I use it to publish books on Amazon, okay? And so, for example, because I'm so impressed with the work that is being done by this conference, that's probably too small, huh? Let me make it larger. Because I'm impressed by, Mothers for Justice and Equality, I got up this morning about 3:30, and I started doing the same thing I normally do at home. I start writing what you call prompts. That's Arab, Middle East. Oh, here's title for books. Now, I'm going to be working with Mona Lisa about the publications for Mothers for Justice and Equality, but what I wanted to do was get an idea of the scope of things that could be done using ChatGPT. And this is just one example. Come on. I'm trying to change my view. Oh, there's something down here. Thank you. So in other words, I said, give me 20 titles for books that will benefit Mothers for Justice and Equality. It gave me 20 titles, okay? And you could actually scroll down and get an idea. So I'm showing you my workflow, what I get up in the morning and I do. If I'm ghostwriting for somebody, I'm actually coming up first with a topic or a title for a book. The next step I do is I ask Chat to provide an outline for a book for Mothers for Justice and Equality. It gives me an outline. But I do have paid software that would literally go through and unpack each and every part of that outline. If you don't use paid programs, you got to do one at a time. And then once that's done, I go through and I completely rework it. I do thorough editing. I've been doing editing since I was at my days at Vanderbilt, when I did editing for the whole university, and then ultimately for the Divinity School itself. And so I've been doing copy editing for probably about 30 some odd years. And then once I get the formatting done, and I formatted according to KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, and I formatted according to that, and then ultimately I load it up. And I, publish a paperback book, hardcover, and the ebook. And I could do that probably in a span of about no more than 2 days. From the idea to the publication, 2 days. Yeah. And I could give you so many different examples, but let me pause for a minute. And I know you probably want me to talk a little bit more so that you can get an idea of what you want to ask questions about. You want me to keep talking for a minute? Okay, I'm glad you said proposals, because that leads me directly into one of my favorite programs. It's called OpenAI Playground, okay? And you could probably, can you see that? Write down that URL. It's platform.openai.com/playground. Now, if you look at this is what I'm working on now. I'm working for a client of mine. He's doing courses, undergrad, and he's trying to get his degree in forensic psychology. And so when he asked me to help him with a paper, what I do, or a discussion post, or a discussion response, he calls me up and says, I need this. And I tell the system, I want you to act as an expert in multicultural policing. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and then I have users, and this is where my prompt goes. A prompt, if you ever Googled before, when you put that in that search bar, that's called a prompt. And you really want to become what I call a prompt engineer. You want to be able to tell ChatGPT exactly what you want to do and what it should consist of. To put it simply, a prompt is really telling ChatGPT to do one thing with a bunch of details, okay? And so you can see here, all I had to do, because it was so deep, I was responding to one of his peers. And all I gotta do is say, please respond. I put her information in the discussion board, and then I go to my assistant, and the assistant is where you could also put in additional information. And so, regarding grants, I would tell it to act as an expert in grant writing, particularly governmental grants, commercial grants, or whatever kind of grant you're using. Tell it to act as an expert. So under the user box, that's where you're going to put your information about your organization, about the grant itself in broad strokes. And then the RFP could be under the assistant. The request for proposals, you put it there. Okay, and then you have your articles of incorporation there. You got the RFP, and you could also put in there a model grant, a grant that was funded. And so when Chat writes, it's going to pull from the RFP, your articles of incorporation or bylaws, anything to have everything in your organization in there. And then you have an expert grant, one that's got approved. And with that, you just hit enter. And it produces a perfect grant in less than 15 minutes. I'm glad you said that. See, all of this is going to be prompted. And so I'm going to put my business cards on the table, and I brought quite a few. If not, write down my number if you need to. My number is area code 937-369-5365. Now here's the catch. If you're not in my contacts, my phone won't ring. So you have to leave a message. If you leave a message, I don't care when it is, I get back to you immediately. I always answer my phone. Okay, I've never had, I never had this many beautiful women ask for my number again. so I can't get in trouble. Only person you get upset is my dog, and he's cool with it. Okay, ready? Okay, Eric, take them back there and pass them out. And if I have tons of them, but I didn't bring a lot because. Yeah, area code 937-369-5365. Okay? And now once you get the grant, and by the way, what I tell it to do over here, where it says system, I could tell it to humanize. I could tell it to write longer sentences, longer paragraphs, avoid repetition. And that's what artificial intelligence does a lot. So you want to get away from that. But if I tell it to do that, it will change. But there's something more important than that. If you see off to the right, once you get into that program, and you're going to this costs $20, is the same as when you max out of ChatGPT, they're going to charge you $20. And what this does, you tailor this so that it will be a humanized document, not an artificial intelligence document. And here's what you got to change. You want to select chat up here. That's the first thing you want to do. When you do chat, that opens up the system block off to the left. And then you want to increase, let me get rid of that box, the temperature. You want it to be anywhere between around 0.5, it could be a little above, a little below. And all of these numbers, a little above, a little below. Now, but except for maximum length of the document, you really want to max it out. You want it to produce as much information as possible. Okay? And so when you have all those boxes filled out, and this here, it will produce a beautiful document that will not be detected by any artificial detection software. In other words, it gives it personality. And then also you could tell it what kind of tone you want. You know, you want a formal tone, an academic tone, optimistic tone. So that's one. But let me jump over to another one real quick. I hope I'm logged in. Let's see here. Here it is. Now, this one gets a little bit more complicated. When you first get into chat.openai.com, that's what everybody is using. That's a free software. That's web-based. That will be free until you run out of characters, and then they're going to force you into the plus. But watch this. Once you get in here, see this symbol here, AIPRM. What this is, remember I said you had to become a prompt engineer? This has over 4,000 ready-made prompts the last time I counted. And this here, instead of paying $20 a month, you would only pay $26 a month. But you could tell it to do almost anything, from writing grant proposals to writing cover letters to writing your bylaws, your articles of incorporation, even doing the strategic planning process. It would create your mission statement, your problem statement, your vision statement. There's nothing about becoming grant ready that this won't do. You know, and you know what I mean by becoming grant ready. You got to get a website. And by the way, my website material comes from both Playground and also AR. If I get that nation. Yeah, that's it. Now, if you already have ChatGPT and you want to upgrade to this, you go to YouTube and say, how do you install AIPRM into chat? There's only 3 steps. If you're not tech savvy, call me and I can walk you through it. Okay? You could tell I got a lot of time on my hand. I get up probably about 4:30 in the morning, sometimes at 5. By the time 9 o'clock rolls around, I'm done with all my work for the week. For the week. And so I have a lot of time. Me and my dog, we play, we go to a dog park. And I sit around and watch TikTok and YouTube videos all day long. Okay, now that's the second main program that I use. But let me go over back to where I was. Let's deal with public policy. Now, there's another program that will disguise your documents, and I recommend this to everybody. It's called quillbot.com. And what quillbot.com does, it has a paraphraser inside, it has a grammar checker, it has a summarizer, and it has a translator. But ultimately, it could paraphrase a document in 7 different ways. And that's another way to disguise. It's not coming up. I don't know what's happening. I refuse to connect. But anyway, just write down Quill. If you want to paraphrase something like you in school, you want to paraphrase a source, all you have to do is go to quillbot.com. They use, what's the name of that program? Originality.ai. And this right now, by the way, there's about 4 major language sources, but there are over 1,000 different tools. Okay, and so Originality.ai cannot keep up with platform and also the AIRPM. Now, if you saw on there, it has a prompt that automatically humanizes your document. Okay, and so, but there are another 4,000 or 5,000 other prompts that you could use, and all you have to do is put in the keyword. It will write the prompt for you. In other words, this is amazing. Now Playground, no, see, it's more complicated than that. Most of the software is what you call web-based. You use it on internet. But once you pay for that, you could use it on your phone if you have a browser. But now, I searched for about 2.5 months and experiment with a lot of different apps that will give me what I want. What I wanted was unlimited volume forever. Okay. And I got it. If I got to just pay $99 for unlimited, I do this stuff all day long. The other day I'm a man, and men need to talk about this stuff, excessive urination at night. I put that in there. Man, now no problem. I got the medicine that told me to use, the exercise that told me to use, and how that could lead to, prostate cancer. And so I use it for even cooking. Now, if you call me up and you're interested, I'm going to probably send you a free ebook. And the ebook has prompts in it that will do over 400 things, like working out, meal plan, trip planning. Like for example, when I went down, I had to go to a conference in Birmingham, and I was thinking about bringing my dog. I said, show me pet-friendly hotels, pet-friendly restaurants. I wanted pet-friendly, different activities. Yes. But the problem is we didn't go because I had to. But see, yeah, because he's in my life, And this is like my best friend. Family could trip, friends could trip, but my dog doesn't trip. And so, forgive me for that. As straight as I could be, but this is how I live. Okay, but I have a bully. He's stubborn as heck. But, you're going to get what you pay for. If you get free, You're going to get some stuff with a lot of repetition and what have you. If you want some professional writing, pay for it. Like the app that I recommended, I looked app after app, and I even started using them. But when it didn't work, I just took the loss, canceled the subscription, and kept moving until I found that one. Yes, it's AI Smith. If you come over to me or you call me, I will text you a snapshot of the app that I use. And it changes every week. It grows every week, and I don't have to pay nothing for it every week. I mean, it will help you interpret your dreams if you want to. It would help you write prayers. It'll help you write songs. It'll help you write short stories. Yes, true. But now they may, hopefully in the future, they will produce an app that you could use on your desktop. But they haven't done that yet for the particular one I'm talking about. But see, and I got about 4 or 5 apps on my phone, all serve different purposes. That's because, I use it every day. And I got to stay ahead of, universities that don't want to acknowledge the times. We are in a different time. We moved from a compositional stage where you have to sit down with a blank piece of paper in front of us and start writing. No, we moved from that state to an editorial or a copy editing state. And so chat will help you in the composition from start to finish. I use it for healthcare because I'm doing some courses for a client of mine, and she's getting a PhD in psychology, focusing in on mental health. And it does everything. Now, what I would do is direct you to YouTube. Go to YouTube and put in something like how to use chat, C-H-A-T, GPT, for beginners. And that'll give you a good idea of how it works. Yeah, chat, C-H-A-T, GPT, for beginners. But now I got so many resources, and this is why I'm so happy Mona's done this. I had no idea it was this sophisticated, but now it could become more sophisticated when we put our heads together, you know what I mean? And so most of the conferences I've been to that talk about AI, they don't give you half of this what we're talking about now. I will give it all away. I don't care. I would literally give it all away. But at the same time, if you're not tech savvy, I don't want to leave you behind, but I got to make a living. You understand what I'm saying? And so, but the majority of the stuff, for example, if you publish a book with me, you're going to learn so much about this stuff for free. But even if you call me up and I don't have problems giving it to you for free. And I will tutor you and help you as much as I can to get you up to speed with it. And that's just who I am. I got a lot of time on my hand. Because I'm really waiting on my letters of declaration from my 2 nonprofits. And once those come, it's on. I got by the way, if you need a website, watch this. For $199, hosted for free for life. And that's all you got to pay is $199. And by the way, if you refer somebody, you get $50 off of that. So I never paid for mine. And they will maintenance it, and they will upkeep it, and I could also input stuff in myself. And you get all your donations to their website. It has all the bells and whistles. And by the way, it's sponsored by another nonprofit that's trying to get people who are in nonprofits to have websites that are really sophisticated for a reasonable price. Beg your pardon? Well, I would rather you text me, and then I will send you the link so that I would get the credit and you would get the credit. Yeah. But on the back of my card, if you want to see what my website look like, my website address is on the back of the card. Okay, let's keep going. If you don't have nothing to say, I got tons to say. Any quick questions? Now, let's see. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm in a group right now that's very, let me just say it this way, religious/spiritual. That's correct? Man, I make a killing. Pastors are too lazy to write or too study. Sometimes they call me up. Yeah. Yeah. It is so funny because I get a lot of calls and people want me to write a dissertation in text. Oh, no. But anyway, you could write a sermon. Watch this. You could say, and this is about learning how to talk to chat. I could say, write a sermon on John 3:16 with the title of, or I could say, select the title for this sermon, or select 10 titles for this sermon. And I wanted to have a complete and thorough exposition and analysis of the biblical text. Not just John 3:16, but from the beginning all the way to the end of John. I could, whatever range you want, he would break it all down. And then I could say, give me some illustrations that will make this clear. And then to top it off, and I could say also, give me a meditation and a prayer to say before and after. And to top it all off, write me a close in the tone of an African-American folk preacher with the style of a let's see, a Gardner Taylor or whoever your favorite preacher is. That's the close. It will write that. You see what I'm saying? And then, okay, so say for instance you're really spiritual and you want to know about a passage or about an idea, or if you want to know about the conflict that's happening in Israel. Why do they demonize Palestinians? You could ask Chat that, you know. And I am serious, and I literally ask everything. I mean, there's no question out of bounds for me. I'm working with a client. She's writing a PhD on preeclampsia. I had no idea what preeclampsia was. I took it all to Chat. But say, for instance, you have at-risk youth. And by the way, those of you who are getting ready to start nonprofits or already have nonprofits, and I was listening to the presentation that Mona gave this earlier, it's not just about Mothers for Justice and Equality. That entails a whole lot of stuff. Working with mothers, with children, working with at-risk youth, and a number of other things. Ask Chat to give you 25 ideas that are most popular for nonprofit organizations. And that's how we find our focus. Am I going too fast? You say, yeah? Yes, I'm sorry. It's just another tool. You know, for example, would you rather sit down and Google something that's going to give you 250 websites, and then you got to go through all of those websites to figure out what you're looking for? Or would you rather ask Chat a question and it gives you an answer? You don't have to agree with it. In fact, you need to vet it, argue against it. You know, if somebody would want to use this for their religion and replace the religion with this, they don't have one. Before they did that, they went on the internet and got sermons and just stole them. But now you could tailor the sermon. Listen, you could tailor the sermon in your very limited amount of time for the audience that you're dealing with. And you could solve real problems for your congregation rather than preaching the same old sermons and singing the same old songs over and over and over again. Okay, but you got to keep it down. I need to hear her because you got that thing in front of your mouth. I can't hear you. Oh, shh, shh, shh. Mm-hmm. 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 No, no, but I'm glad you said that. Let me tell you what the trend is. Let me tell you what I've been hearing. I'm out there. Most, most of the people, a million or so odd people that got on AI when it first came out were Euro-Americans or whites. And then I tried to deduce it to my brothers and sisters who are black or Hispanic or any people of color. When I listen to whites talk, they demonize it, but they use it. Okay? When I hear blacks talk about it, they critique it and never use it at all. Don't let that rhetoric keep you down or keep you back. The whole goal is, and by the way, with that same idea, they thought the same idea happened with the printing press. They thought the printing press would take away the work of the Holy Spirit and the evangelists. Look at how much the printing press have helped us. Now everybody got their own Bibles. Don't demonize it until you use it. And I'm trying to give you the ranges of usage. You ain't got to do that. You could just tell it to analyze the passage for me in both Hebrew and Greek, and it will do it. You know, if you got a busy schedule, and you work with thousands and thousands of people, would you rather call a person up and up, over and over again, and they never answer their phone, and you still got your question? Or would you rather have a resource that's more powerful than graduate school? And now you could develop your own voice, your own style. I would never use a close in the African-American style. I don't close, I'm a teacher. And so I'm more content-driven than I'm entertainment-driven. But so don't let that turn you off. Don't let that be your, I'll come back to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's fear as awe, not as being afraid. But let me say this: I've had 3 libraries. Each one of the libraries has had over 10,000 books in it, and I don't want you to rely on me, but I know you don't have the time to read all those books I read, and so what you have to do, you have to have used tools. And I could share you tools on the internet that will do analysis of text and what have you, but who have that kind of time? If you have it at your fingertip, you could just ask a simple question. Give me an analysis of let's say, Romans 1, dealing with, let's say, homophobia or, homosexuality in the whole Bible. It will bring up every single text, and you can read it for yourself. You follow me? And so it's a research tool, but don't use it as a crutch. Because some of the material, because it draws from over 70 trillion billion pieces of information, some of that's going to be wrong. So you're going to have to vet it. In other words, if you're trying to write a scholarly article, you better ask it for peer-reviewed, actual articles, or we'll make up one for you. And you don't want that, because if your professor checks that out, you're dead. And so my point is, don't use it as a crutch. Use it as a tool. And then if you don't have a good editor, call me. And I'll fix that document for you. Sir, over here first, and then over here. Mm-hmm. 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 I'm so glad this came out, because now, as laypersons, you have empowerment with legs. You could vet everything your preacher's saying while he's saying it or she's saying it. You know what I mean? And then when you get home, You ain't got to take all those notes down. All you got to do is prompt, get the response, prompt, get the response, and you got more information on your phone or in Word docs or Word or Google Docs than he or she may have had in writing the sermon itself. See how powerful that is? Mm-hmm. Okay, you had a question.
When it comes to grant writing,
Mm-hmm.
I can actually put into this program different proposals
Yes.
and ask it which proposal would be more likely to be funded.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes. In fact, you could ask it to critique your grant proposal and ask what's missing. I mean, it's an unbelievable tool. And so just keep an open mind. That's what the first day of class I tell my students, keep an open mind. You know, just because you're listening doesn't mean you have to do it. But when you have an open mind, you benefit much more than you would with a closed mind. Yes. Shh. Uh-huh. Yes. 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 In fact, I'm so busy publishing. I got 4 books ready to be published on Amazon right now. 2 of them are reading their manuscripts. But I have 3 of my own books I'm ready to publish. And I mean, you're talking about rigorous. The more you know how it works, the better it is. Like, for example, well, I'm not going to go into example. I'm trying not to preach. But I'm so glad this came out because this is another tool that will wake up so-called sleeping Christians in their congregations so that they won't be fooled by chicanery. Like one of the topics I've done extensive research through chat, that's a short name for chat, or you could call it GPT, is a, I'm so glad I thought that other thought because it made me forget what I was going to say. That's probably needed. And this breaks my heart. This is why I'm so busy because we have so many Christians who are asleep and don't even know it. You know, and it breaks my heart. And when I look at TV evangelists or any other religious program, I can only stand 2 minutes of it because we don't know who we are. You know, if you are a person, then this is dangerous what we're sharing. But if you are the very living presence of God, you hear what I said? I said you are the very living presence of God. In fact, when Jesus came, he modeled himself in a way that we could follow, not just human, but also divine. Now that should be deep. And most Christians don't talk about their divinity. But when I prayed, in prayer, I said, you got the spark of the divine in you. God is not in heaven, so to speak. God is in your heart. So you ain't got to pray long and far. God knows all your thoughts because God is right there. And not only that, Jesus is in your heart. You're filled with the Holy Spirit. You got the mind of Christ. Who are you? And so now we ain't got to rely on the pulpit that's just advertisement and entertainment. Now what we can do is go straight to the source and start doing the research for ourselves. Yes. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yes. You, redhead. I love redheads. Red is my favorite color. See, I got red on. In fact, I could close my eyes and tell you how much red in this room. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I hope I embarrass you. Uh-huh. Your hand was up in the air. What would y'all think? You say she was flirting? No. Oh, I'm sorry. She said, I'm just kidding. I'm a comedian. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? So like I said at the beginning, at the outset, this, I'm sorry, go ahead. Shh. Mm-hmm.
I gave the upside in the highway, and there are too many of them. And I gave some specific things that I'm looking at or I encountered in the session. Can it reword it for me?
Yes.
Go away?
In fact, one of my clients, she is a social worker. I helped her matriculate through Sister Piedmont, Gardner-Webb, and USC, and now she's getting a PhD. And she had to do those notes. She used ChatGPT so as not to be so repetitious. Yes. Depend on, again, it's about prompting. You got to know how to ask it to do that. And because I know it, you could call me up and say, how do I prompt this? I could tell you how to prompt it. Or you could get some of the software that I've shown you, and that would help as well. Okay, I can hear her. Shh. Say what? Yes, you could edit it. Don't ever accept anything that comes out of it. Edit it heavily. See, people have problems getting started, and with this tool, it will kill this thing called procrastination, or what's the other word? We have a writer's block. It would kill. I don't have writer's block no more. And so I don't have to worry about all the steps I got to do. All I got to worry about is coming up with a perfect prompt to do what I need to do and go do another prompt. And that's all. Instead of a to-do list, I have a do-prompt list. Yes. Start what? Yeah. Unfortunately, I would have to do it one-on-one, or I'm here at the conference throughout the end. If you have questions, catch me while I'm here, and I will work with you. If that's okay, Mona Lisa. Yeah, I'm very respectful of this. This is somebody else's turf. Yes. I got 2 minutes because I shared earlier with my brother. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let me close. I cannot tell you how powerful this thing is. I really work in about 8 different languages. Okay, and I could ask it to analyze any word in those languages, and will give me a full breakdown. And I wish that the universities would catch wind of this and show our students how to use it, rather than to downgrade them when they use it. And so, but again, this is only the tip of the iceberg, and maybe if Mona Lisa likes me to come back again, I'll be glad to come back and keep raising the bar higher and higher, like Jacob's ladder. Okay? God bless you and God keep you.